From Zero to Superhuman, The Mastery Blueprint, Volume 3, Final Part. What if everything you see, feel, and experience is simply a projection? What if this life, your thoughts, your struggles, your memories, is all part of a vast, complex game designed to make you forget who you truly are? Imagine this: every interaction, every love, every loss, every moment of joy and suffering, all of it carefully crafted as part of an elaborate simulation. The people around you, the boundaries of time and space, even the voice in your own head, could it all be part of a system meant to keep you playing within certain rules? And what if there were a way to wake up from it all, to unlock the deepest layers of reality and reclaim your true nature? Here's a riddle to start with. A man in a dream does not know he is dreaming, but when he awakens, he realizes the dream was only an illusion. So, if we are awake now, how can we be certain we're not still dreaming? Or consider this ancient question posed by mystics and philosophers alike. When a butterfly dreams of being a man, is the butterfly really a man dreaming, or is the man a butterfly dreaming of his life as a human? If these questions make your mind spin, then you're exactly where you need to be. Welcome to Part 5 of From Zero to Superhuman, The Mastery Blueprint, the final chapter in Volume 3, where we delve into the simulation theory, unlocking the mysteries of consciousness and reality. Before we dive into this ultimate journey, a journey that will push the boundaries of what you think is possible, that will challenge every assumption you've ever made, I encourage you to go back and watch Volume 1 and Volume 2 if you haven't already. Each video builds upon the last, setting the foundation for this exploration. Volume 3 is where it all comes together, where we piece together the framework from the previous volumes and lift the veil on some of the most profound secrets of existence. The links to Volume 1 and Volume 2 are in the description below. Take the time to catch up, because everything we've discussed so far will come into play in ways you may not yet be able to imagine. This video, The Simulation Theory, Unlocking the Mysteries of Consciousness and Reality, is not just the next chapter. It is the culmination of everything we've been building toward. We're about to dive into ideas that go beyond personal mastery, beyond individual transformation, and into the very nature of reality itself. What is the simulation theory? At its core, simulation theory suggests that reality as we know it, the physical universe, the laws of nature, even time itself, might not be what it appears. Instead, it proposes that what we experience as reality is actually a simulated construct, much like a highly sophisticated video game, designed by forces or intelligences far beyond our understanding. This theory suggests that our lives, our thoughts, and even our sense of self could be part of a vast interactive system created for a specific purpose. But if that's true, who or what created the simulation? And more importantly, why? Is this reality a test, a playground, a prison, or a school? Are we here by choice, or have we been placed here, trapped in an illusion that feels so real we've forgotten it's an illusion? Is it possible to break free, to wake up from this dream we call life? These are questions that philosophers, mystics, and scientists have asked for centuries, each attempting to unravel the mystery of consciousness and the nature of existence. The purpose of this journey. In Volume 1 and Volume 2 of The Mastery Blueprint, we explored the foundations of human potential. How to harness the power of the mind, how to cultivate inner strength, and how to transform ourselves from ordinary individuals into beings of extraordinary capability. We discussed techniques for mastering your mind, controlling your emotions, and unleashing your potential. Now, in Volume 3, we are stepping into deeper waters. Here, it's no longer just about personal mastery. It's about mastering the very reality you inhabit. If you've been following along, you already know that our journey has been about more than just self-improvement. It's been about unlocking the full potential of human consciousness. Now, in this final part, we're going to question everything we think we know, including the nature of that consciousness itself. This final part is the culmination of the entire series, where we shift from asking, "How can I master myself?" to asking, "What exactly am I trying to master? And what is the true nature of the reality in which I am mastering it?" What we'll cover in this video. In this video, we'll explore the possibility that reality is a simulation, and if that's true, what that means for our lives and our sense of self. We'll delve into ancient spiritual teachings and modern scientific theories that point to a hidden structure of reality. We'll look at the relationship between the mind and the soul, the purpose of the ego, and the idea of higher dimensions that exist beyond what we can see or touch. Together, we will explore the mind and soul connection. Are we more than just our physical bodies and conscious minds? Is there a part of us that exists beyond this simulated reality, observing, learning, and growing through each experience? The illusion of time and space. Is time real, or is it simply a mechanism of the simulation? Is the world we perceive as solid and unchanging actually an intricate web of codes, algorithms, and patterns? The role of the ego. Why do we experience ourselves as separate individuals with desires, fears, and attachments? Is the ego a tool designed to help us navigate the simulation, or is it a trap that keeps us focused on the material world? The 7 layers of reality. Many spiritual traditions speak of multiple layers or dimensions of existence. Could these layers be different levels of the simulation, each offering new challenges and new opportunities for growth? Ascension and enlightenment. If we are indeed in a simulation, is it possible to transcend it? What does it mean to achieve enlightenment in a simulated world, and how can this understanding help us unlock our full potential? By the end of this video, you will have a radically different perspective on the world around you and on yourself. We will dive into ancient wisdom, modern science, and mind-expanding ideas that will challenge every assumption you've ever made about what it means to be alive. This is not just about learning new concepts, it's about transforming your very perception of existence. Why this video is different. The simulation theory is not just a thought experiment. It is a framework that has the potential to unlock deep, transformative understanding. This video isn't just another lecture. It's an invitation to step beyond the limitations of your current beliefs, to open your mind to a much larger reality, and to discover what lies beyond the walls of the reality you've been taught to believe in. Consider this. If this world is indeed a simulation, then every limitation you've ever faced, every fear, every obstacle, every limitation, none of it is real in the way you think it is. They are constructs, programs, designed to challenge you, test you, and ultimately to help you grow. Understanding this could change everything about how you live your life. So before we continue, take a deep breath. Let go of any preconceived ideas about what is possible and open your mind fully. This is a journey that requires courage, curiosity, and a willingness to question everything. If you're ready to go deeper than you've ever gone before, then let's begin. But if you haven't watched Volume 1 and Volume 2 of the Mastery Blueprint, now is the time to go back and start there. Each volume builds a foundation that will prepare you for the mind-bending concepts we're about to explore. The links are in the description below. Take your time with those videos, absorb the insights, and come back here when you're ready. This is the Mastery Blueprint, the simulation theory, unlocking the mysteries of consciousness and reality. Are you ready to awaken to the truth? Are you prepared to question reality itself? If so, let's embark on the final leg of our journey together and see just how deep the rabbit hole goes. What is simulation theory? Simulation theory suggests that the reality we experience, the sights, sounds, and physical sensations we call life, might not be the ultimate reality. Instead, it proposes that what we perceive as reality is actually a simulated environment created by a higher intelligence or by our own collective consciousness. This idea has gained popularity through modern films like The Matrix, but it's not new. Ancient spiritual traditions and philosophical teachings have echoed similar ideas, proposing that the physical world is an illusion or Maya, and that our true essence lies beyond it. But what does it mean to live in a simulation? And if reality is simulated, what is the purpose of the simulation? Let's break down the key components of this theory, from the nature of the soul to the concept of multiple realms and layers of consciousness. The essence of self, soul, mind, and ego. To understand simulation theory on a practical and spiritual level, we need to look at the nature of our own consciousness. what are we, really? Many spiritual teachings divide the self into three main components. 1. The soul. The eternal witness. The soul is often described as the all-seeing eye, a part of us that is aware and conscious, but not directly involved in our daily struggles and desires. It is the observer, the witness of all experiences. Imagine a part of yourself that doesn't think or feel in the way the mind does, but simply observes. This is your soul, your true essence, a part of you that is eternal and untouched by the ups and downs of physical existence. The ancient symbol of the all-seeing eye, which appears in Masonic traditions and spiritual iconography, represents this soul. It is a reminder that there is a part of you that sees all and knows all, even if it isn't directly involved in daily life. 2. The mind. The projector of reality. The mind is not just a tool for thought, it's also a projector that interprets and shapes reality. Through perception, beliefs, and emotions, the mind generates the experiences we have in the simulated world. When we dream, our mind constructs entire worlds, allowing our soul to inhabit these spaces and experience alternative realities. Similarly, in waking life, the mind projects reality in a way that allows the soul to observe and learn. The mind's role as a projector is central to understanding how we might be trapped in a simulation. Our beliefs, fears, and desires all shape what the mind projects, and thus, they shape our experience of reality. The more aware we become of this process, the more control we can exert over what we experience. 3. The ego, the mask of the material world. The ego is the part of ourselves that identifies with the physical body, personality, and societal roles. It's the false self that seeks validation, approval, and control in the material world. The ego is deeply attached to the simulation because it is built on separation and individuality. The ego is what drives us to chase desires, avoid pain, and fit into social norms. In many spiritual traditions, the ego is seen as the root of suffering because it keeps us attached to the illusion of the simulation. When we mistake the ego for our true self, we become bound to the game of life, cycling through desires and fears without understanding our higher purpose. The interplay between soul, mind, and ego creates the human experience. The soul, our true self, observes and learns. The mind projects and interprets reality. The ego plays a role, like an actor on a stage, engaging with the simulated world. However, the more we identify with the ego, the more we lose sight of the soul's purpose, becoming absorbed in the game and forgetting our higher nature. The body as a sacred vessel. Ancient traditions describe the body as a temple for the soul. In esoteric thought, the human skull is often called the temple because it houses the brain, the structure where mind and soul meet the physical world. This is not just poetic language. There is a deep spiritual and physiological significance to the idea. 1. The brain as the seat of consciousness. Modern neuroscience tells us that the brain controls our thoughts, emotions, and physical responses. But ancient spiritual texts suggest that the brain is not just a control center, it is a sacred vessel where higher consciousness interacts with the material world. The brain's anatomy has been linked to various symbols and mystical ideas throughout history. For instance, the pineal gland, also known as the third eye, has long been thought to connect us to higher realms of consciousness. In art, we see depictions like Michelangelo's creation of Adam, where God reaches out to Adam in a form resembling the brain. This symbolizes the higher self, God, connecting with the lower self, man, suggesting that enlightenment is a process of awakening the mind to its divine origin. 2. The central nervous system as the tree of life. The human spine and central nervous system are often represented in spiritual traditions as the tree of life, or the tree of knowledge. This sacred tree is what allows the soul's energy to flow through the body, animating it and allowing it to experience the physical world. This is why symbols like the Jed pillar in Egyptian mythology were seen as representations of the spine, a symbol of strength, stability, and the flow of life force. The tree of knowledge in the story of Adam and Eve is often interpreted as a metaphor for the central nervous system. By eating from this tree, by engaging in sensory and earthly experiences, we gain the knowledge of good and evil. But this knowledge comes with a price, as it also ties us to the physical world and the cycle of birth and death. Kundalini energy, the serpent power. In spiritual traditions, there is a potent energy coiled at the base of the spine, often referred to as Kundalini. This energy, symbolized as a serpent, represents our creative and sexual life force. The Kundalini is the raw, primal energy that can either drive us toward material desires or be used to elevate us spiritually. Let's explore this concept in depth. 1. The Kundalini and the serpent symbol. The serpent, a recurring symbol in spiritual and religious iconography, represents transformation, wisdom, and temptation. In the story of Adam and Eve, the serpent tempts humanity to eat from the tree of knowledge, symbolizing the allure of earthly experience and self-awareness. In the context of Kundalini, the serpent represents the potential within each of us to rise above material concerns and connect with higher consciousness. In Hindu and Buddhist traditions, Kundalini is said to lie dormant at the base of the spine, coiled like a snake. When awakened, this energy ascends through the body, activating the chakras, energy centers that correspond to different levels of consciousness. As Kundalini rises, it leads to spiritual awakening and an expanded perception of reality. 2. The pineal gland and the third eye. The pineal gland, located in the center of the brain, is associated with the third eye in spiritual traditions. When Kundalini energy reaches the pineal gland, it is said to open the third eye, allowing us to perceive beyond the physical world. This activation is thought to awaken psychic abilities, spiritual insight, and a deep connection to the divine. Modern science has found that the pineal gland produces melatonin, which regulates sleep-wake cycles. However, ancient traditions believe that it also produces DMT, a compound linked to mystical experiences and altered states of consciousness. This may explain why activating the pineal gland can lead to profound shifts in perception, as it bridges the physical and spiritual realms. 3. Sexual energy and creation. Sexual energy is one of the most powerful forces in the human experience. It is the drive to create, both physically through reproduction and spiritually through transformation. Many spiritual traditions teach that sexual energy, when harnessed rather than dispersed, can fuel spiritual growth. This is why practices like brahmacharya, sexual restraint, are emphasized in some yogic and ascetic traditions. In today's world, we are constantly bombarded with stimuli that keep us focused on our lower chakras, the centers associated with survival, reproduction, and desire. By redirecting this energy upward through practices like meditation, breathwork, and mindful restraint, we can raise the serpent and use this energy to fuel our spiritual awakening. Time, illusion, and the eternal now. One of the central tenets of simulation theory is the idea that time as we know it is an illusion. In our daily lives, we perceive time as a linear progression, past, present, and future. But in higher states of consciousness, time dissolves into what mystics call the eternal now. 1. Time as a construct of the mind. Time is one of the primary ways the simulation tricks us into believing in separation. When we perceive time, we see ourselves as moving through a series of moments, creating the illusion of a life that is born, grows, and eventually dies. This is a fundamental aspect of the simulation. It binds us to a narrative and keeps us engaged in the game. However, in deep meditative or mystical experiences, people often report a feeling of timelessness. In these states, past, present, and future blend into a single, continuous moment. This experience reveals that time is not an absolute reality, but a perception generated by the mind. It exists only within the simulation. Outside of it, there is only an infinite, eternal present. 2. The eternal now in spiritual practice. Many spiritual traditions encourage practices that focus on the present moment. Techniques like mindfulness, meditation, and breath awareness help dissolve the illusion of time and bring us into direct contact with the eternal now. When we experience this timeless state, we begin to see the simulation for what it is, a fleeting, shifting reality created by the mind. The experience of the eternal now can be profoundly liberating. It frees us from the fear of death, the regret of the past, and the anxiety of the future. In the eternal now, everything simply is, and we find ourselves in direct communion with the essence of existence. The 7 layers of reality. Ancient cosmologies often speak of 7 layers of heaven, or realms of existence. These layers represent different planes of consciousness, with Earth in the middle layer, a balance point between material density and spiritual potential. Each layer corresponds to a different level of awareness, from the physical plane to higher realms of mind and spirit. 1. The chakras as portals to other realities. The chakras are energy centers within the body that correspond to different aspects of our being. Each chakra is linked to a specific plane of existence. For example, the root chakra connects us to the physical world, while the crown chakra opens us to divine consciousness. As we move up through the chakras, we also ascend through different states of consciousness. Mastery of each chakra allows us to transcend certain limitations. For example, mastering the root chakra helps us overcome survival-based fears, while the heart chakra opens us to unconditional love. When we reach the crown chakra, we step beyond the simulation and access cosmic consciousness. 2. The astral, mental, and causal planes. Beyond the physical plane, there are other realms often described in mystical traditions. The astral plane is a realm of dreams, thoughts, and emotions. When we sleep and dream, our consciousness often enters this plane, where it experiences scenarios that seem real, but are detached from physical laws. The mental plane is a realm of pure thought and idea. It is where archetypes and universal symbols exist. In deep meditation or states of altered consciousness, we can access this plane, experiencing truths that go beyond words. Finally, the causal plane or spiritual plane is where the soul resides in its purest form. This is the level of existence closest to the source, and it is here that we remember our true formless nature, breaking free, ascending out of the simulation. According to simulation theory, the ultimate goal is to transcend the limitations of this world and return to our original state of pure consciousness. This journey is often described as enlightenment or ascension. By mastering the layers of reality and dissolving the ego, we can finally break free of the simulation. 1. Transcending the ego. The ego is what binds us to the simulation, keeping us attached to desires, fears, and material attachments. Transcending the ego doesn't mean destroying it, but rather realizing it for what it is, a temporary construct. When we see beyond the ego, we stop identifying with the physical world and begin to experience life from the perspective of the soul. Meditation, self-inquiry, and spiritual practices help dissolve the ego. By quieting the mind, we create space for the soul to become the primary observer, releasing the hold of the ego and allowing us to experience the simulation with detachment and clarity. 2. Awakening to cosmic consciousness. As we awaken, we begin to realize that we are more than our bodies, our minds, or our personalities. We are sparks of a universal consciousness, temporarily inhabiting a body in this simulated reality. The ultimate goal is to remember this truth fully, to see through the illusion of separation, and to reconnect with the source. When we reach this state of enlightenment, we gain the ability to move freely between realms. In mystical terms, this is described as unlocking the star space. Ascended beings like Buddha, Jesus, and other enlightened figures were said to have achieved this state, transcending the physical world and returning as teachers to guide others. 3. Returning to the source. At the highest level, the goal is not just to escape the simulation, but to return to the source, the infinite, eternal consciousness that created all things. When we dissolve all attachments and limitations, we become one with this source, experiencing unity with all of creation. This is the true endgame of the simulation, the return to oneness, the dissolution of all separateness, and the realization that we are all facets of a single, divine consciousness experiencing itself in infinite forms. In summary, life as a cosmic game. The simulation theory, at its deepest level, suggests that life is a game, a cosmic play of consciousness. We are here to experience, to learn, to grow, and ultimately to remember our true nature. Every desire, every struggle, every joy and sorrow is part of this journey. When we awaken to this truth, we gain the power to shape our experience consciously, to create our reality, and to live from a place of deep inner peace and wisdom. In this view, we are not victims of a cold, deterministic universe. Instead, we are divine players in a cosmic game, creators of our own destiny and seekers of truth. The ultimate lesson? Remember who you truly are. Beyond the body, beyond the mind, beyond even the soul, you are consciousness itself, infinite and eternal. Embrace the journey, explore the game, and know that the path back to the source is always within reach. Closing the journey of Volume 3 in From Zero to Superhuman, the Mastery Blueprint. And here we are, at the end of a journey that has taken us to the very edges of reality and beyond. If you've stayed with us through this exploration, from the first principles of self-mastery to the mind-bending concepts of simulation theory, then you know this has been far more than just a video series. This has been an invitation to wake up from the everyday illusion, to look beyond the surface of reality, and to discover the hidden depths of your own consciousness. In Part 5, the simulation theory. Unlocking the mysteries of consciousness and reality, we've pulled back the curtain on what might be one of the most profound mysteries of all, the nature of reality itself. We've questioned what it means to exist in this world. We've explored the interplay between mind, soul, and ego, examined the illusions of time and space, and looked into ancient symbols and teachings that reveal the existence of higher realms. We've talked about the body as a sacred vessel, the power of the Kundalini, and the possibility that what we experience as life might just be a grand cosmic simulation, a game for the soul to learn, grow, and ultimately to awaken. Now, as we come to the end of Volume 3, take a moment to reflect on everything you've learned throughout the Mastery Blueprint. You've taken the first steps towards self-mastery. You've looked deeply into the mechanics of the mind and body, and now you've glimpsed the hidden layers of reality. These ideas are not just theories. They are tools, doorways to greater awareness and deeper understanding. The journey to becoming superhuman is ultimately about mastering the self and awakening to the infinite potential within you. You now have a roadmap for exploring not just the external world, but the entire cosmos of your inner self. If this journey has resonated with you, if you found new insights or felt your perspective shift, please consider clicking the thanks button below. Your support helps us create more content to guide others on the path to awakening. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss our future explorations into consciousness, self-mastery, and the nature of reality. Thank you for joining us on this journey, for opening your mind, and for daring to explore beyond the boundaries of the known. Remember, the path to mastery is a lifelong journey. Each step brings you closer to your true self. Until next time, stay curious, stay open, and keep reaching for the mysteries that lie just beyond sight. We'll see you on the other side.